Y'all got to love me because I love myself and I know God loves me to be as transparent as I am right now. You know why? Because he accepts me just the way I am, and so do I. So this is my before I get ready to go on at 6:45, because I don't mix religion with spirituality. And so at 6:45 we will begin the AA reflection daily reading. But before then, I have to give God the honor, the praise, and the glory as my sister ambassador Tamika Strickland. I missed her this morning. I kind of overslept, and I also miss AJ Hardy, so I don't know what's going on. And I also miss giving the Facebook thing. So to God be the glory. Guess what? It's a new day, and a new day, and it's a happy new day. So listen to my testimony for today while I continue to prepare all of this for you. To God be the glory. All right, here we go. Let's see. I know y'all gonna like this, right? Y'all gonna like this one. Here we go. All right, let me make sure I got all the sounds up. Now, because I tell you, the devil is a liar, but praise God. Here we go. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. As John Lewis said, he was singing that song in the Congress House because he's happy. I love John Lewis. Oh my God. I'm happy. Ooh, let me get ready. This is my mama hat, y'all. Thank you, Lord. Woo! Woo! Because I am happy. 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 Because he first loved me. I am happy. Good morning, y'all. Welcome to the January the 17th AA, meaning Alcoholics Anonymous, Daily Reflections reading for today. Give us this day our daily bread. And our topic is happiness comes quietly. Not for me no more. It's live, right? And so I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been a humble, grateful, and happy member for 31 plus years, one day at a time. And it did come a little quietly in the beginning. But the more I built my relationship with the God of my understanding and utilized the spiritual tools of Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm happy. I'm happy. Nothing's going to bring me down. I'm happy. All right. So just to clear up a few things, yesterday, for whatever reason, I think I'm still suffering from the symptoms of the COVID-19. You know, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. But guess what? God still prevailed. And I had to wish my niece, Helen Sabrina Hall, a happy birthday. So go back to my Facebook page or go to YouTube, and it'll say January the 11th, but in the caption, it'll say January the 16th, okay? Because the topic was hitting bottom. So you don't want to miss that. So go back to all of my podcasts back as far as December the 30th, right? And one day at a time, God's going to allow me to sit before you to share the good news, right? From the AA Daily Reflections. All right. So without further ado, let's get to the topic. Happiness comes quietly. All right. So you know what I'm asking you to do. So I want you to take a sip of your coffee. I'm going to do the same thing. And then I want you to, let me catch my breath. Lord, thank you, Lord. This is my mommy's hat that I wear every morning. So I think I'll put it on my shoulder this morning, huh? Can she be a part of the podcast until she falls off? Okay. This is my mama, y'all. This is my mama hat. All right, so close your eyes, and I want you to hear what the reading is, and then you're going to open your eyes, and we're going to read it together so that we can listen together, all right? So let's hide this first. Oh, Lord, I love you. He woke you up this morning. He woke me up this morning. He said, you are chosen one more day to get it right. But while you do it, be happy. All right, so let's go here. Close your eyes now. Here we go. All right. It says January the 17th, AA Daily Reflections. Happiness comes quietly. The trouble with us alcoholics was this. We demanded that the world give us happiness and peace of mind in just the particular order we wanted to get it by the alcohol virtue, by the alcohol route. And we weren't successful. But when we take time to find out some of the spiritual laws and familiarize ourselves with them and put them into practice, then we do get happiness and peace of mind. There seem to be some rules that we have to follow, but happiness and peace of mind are always here, open and free to anyone. This comes from Dr. Bob and the Good Oldtimers, page 308. And the alcoholic states, from his perspective, the simplicity of the AA program teaches me that happiness isn't something I can demand. It comes upon me quietly while I serve others. And offering my hand to the newcomer or to someone who has relapsed, I find that my own sobriety has been recharged with indescribable gratitude and happiness. Okay, open your eyes. And if you didn't open your eyes again, all right? And so Do you see that it says here, happiness comes quietly? And so, what I want us to do is to read it together. Okay. And so, this way, you can say the words and internalize it as you're reading it. So, let's go. January the 17th, AA Daily Reflections. Happiness comes quietly. The trouble with us alcoholics was this: we demanded that the world give us happiness and peace of mind in just the particular order we wanted to get it by the alcohol route. And we weren't successful. But when we take time to find out some of the spiritual laws and familiarize ourselves with them and put them into practice, then we do get happiness and peace of mind. There seem to be some rules that we have to follow, but happiness and peace of mind are always here, open and free to anyone. From Dr. Bob and the Good Oldtimers, page 308. And the writer, from his perspective, states, the simplicity of the AA program teaches me that happiness isn't something I can demand. It comes upon me quietly while I serve others. And offering my hand to the newcomer or to someone who has relapsed, I find that my own sobriety has been recharged with indescribable gratitude and happiness. Okay? And so you see the title, Happiness Comes Quietly. And it says here, the trouble with us alcoholics was that we demanded, that the world give us happiness and peace of mind in just the particular order we wanted to get it by the alcohol route. So let's think back in a time. Come on, mama. Come on. Don't slip off, mama. Think back in a time when I look back in my history, and you know how babies instinctively, they hungry, they cry, they want to eat, they want some attention, feed me, feed me, feed me. They don't know that that's what they're doing, but instinctively, that's what they're doing. They're demanding attention. They're demanding you feed me through instincts that were God-given. Okay, so as the child develops, right, and depending upon their environment, and as they grow from an infant to a baby, the same thing. The baby goes through his thing because he can't talk. The talking comes through crying. The talking comes through physical demeanor. You know what I mean? And so when that baby is wet, when that baby is hurting, when that baby is hungry, he's demanding attention, right? Mm-hmm. And so as he goes from infant to baby to toddler, right? Again, he's used to being fed, he used to being changed and all that kind of stuff. And there comes a time where you would think he's demanding. You would think that I want what I wanted, you know what I mean? And so as he develops social skills, as he develops mobile skills, you know what I mean? And so he too becomes somewhat self-centered. Yeah. He don't want to share. He don't want you to take the food away. He's demanding, gimme. It's that thing of ownership, right? And you are supposed to give it to me, right? And so depending upon how we discipline or how we teach or how we do mold or condition our children, right? You'll see that there's a give and take. But guess what? In reality, each human being are self-centered in their nature. Why? Because we are born in sin, right? And formed in equity, right? And so it is obvious once you get to see it that everybody is out for themselves. But depending upon how we teach, how we mold, how we condition, there's some give and take. But instinctively, no, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about you. Okay. So now for me, when I think about being around my siblings and being around my mother and my dad and having and having that feeling that, let's see what it says now. Having that feeling is that y'all are here on this earth to make me happy. Y'all are here on this earth to serve me. My daddy should want only me. My daddy should love me, right? Mom is in the way. My siblings are in the way. That's my daddy. And that's what I used to listen. I demand y'all leave my daddy to me. I know you married mommy. I know you siblings, but that's my daddy. I demand that y'all leave my daddy alone. I miss my daddy, right? But that's how I my instincts, developed, in that, I demanded that attention, the affection, and all that kind of stuff from my daddy, because it was my perception that it was my daddy who made me happy. It was my daddy who gave me peace of mind. It was my daddy I wanted to be like. It was my daddy that I worshiped, even with his defects, and there were a lot of them, right? But nevertheless, I loved my daddy, and I demanded that nobody come before me when it comes to my daddy. All right. And so as time go on, so I have that mentality, and guess what? So does my other siblings, and so does my mother, right? And so we are all seeking outside conditions, external things, right? Tangible things to make us happy, and what we think is a peace of mind, right? And then we want it the way we want it, how we want it, and you better deliver it that way, right? So you would think that, from starting to drink alcohol, and so when we inject alcohol, induce alcohol into our bodies, that those attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that we were conditioned with, and that we were that they were formulated in our early years, right? They only perpetuated when we started drinking. Yeah, so that demand for what I want, that you better give it to me how I want you to give it to me, and you better give it to me right now. So under the influence of alcohol, drugs, whatever, those attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that were formulated early, guess what? They didn't went nowhere. They were perpetuated even more under the influence of alcohol. And it appears that, when we start to drinking, and we have this artificial, right, and an illusion that we are King Kong. You are here to serve me. Oh my God, when I look back, I was like, that's why we have to go back to find out what happened, not what's wrong with us, but what happened, And so when I think about, the selfishness and the self-centeredness I had, and then when I started drinking, oh my God, the world owes me everything, because it was the world who did this to me. It was the world who did that to me. It was my daddy who did that to me. It was my sisters who, I was always blaming everybody else. And then when I didn't get what I wanted from them, from the world, then under the influence of alcohol, and sometimes without alcohol, I sought attention and affection from outside of myself, never knowing about the inside job. Oh, no. Everything was external, nothing internal. What I was feeling was internal, but guess what? I could not elaborate. I could not communicate. I could not articulate what was going on in me. And so those feelings that I was trying to conceal revealed themselves throughout my neck, throughout my behavior, right? And so when we think about happiness comes quietly, guess what? Everything for me was based on external things to make me happy. From individuals, from things, from this or from that, and it never worked. So let's continue on with what it says. It says, phew, and we weren't successful. No, we weren't successful. But when we take time to find out some of the spiritual laws and familiarize ourselves with them and put them into practice, then we do get happiness and peace of mind. It says here, right? But when we take time, when we take time, the acronym from time and recovery is this I must earn, right? And so when we think about time and we think about being under the influence of drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff, right? So what are we really doing? So it says here, we take time to find out some of the spiritual laws. So listen, underneath that parked car 31 years ago, the streets of Philadelphia, getting high with my stepson and doing all those kind of sexual favors, right? See, me becoming an alcoholic and a drug addict did not happen overnight. No, it did not. And so what we have is what we call a daily reprieve, contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual conditions. Well, you could have been talking Spanish to me because I didn't know nothing about what you're saying. And so, but by taking time, God delivered me from underneath that parked car, put me on the road to recovery, right? And like I said the other day, when the counselor said I needed a year to get myself together, right? Away from my family, away from my environment, to really focus on my recovery, that's how much time I needed to take to find out what happened. Yes. And I'm like, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. And she said, well, how long you been getting high? How long you been drinking? I said, 14 years. So she said, 1 year? I said, oh, okay. Then she said something about making 90 meetings in 90 days. I was like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of meetings. She said, well, do me a favor, make 1 meeting a day for 3 months. I said, oh, I can do that. I can do that. Guess what? It's the same 90 days, right? So so time is crucial. Time is important, right? So, and I had to learn to go back to find out what happened, unlearn unlearn the things that I learned that were not conducive to my spiritual development that I didn't know I had then, but I had this yearning. And then to apply spiritual laws, spiritual principles. Alcoholics Anonymous and 12-step programs are based on spiritual principles, spiritual laws. Take time to find out about the spiritual laws, right? And then it says, and familiarize ourselves with them. So that's why I go to my meetings every day, one way, shape, form, or fashion, to continue to familiarize myself with these spiritual principles, all 36 of them based in a spiritual fellowship, right? Around people who are trying to develop spiritually as well. So we are spiritually connected, learning some spiritual principles, familiarizing ourselves with them, and then use them. Yes, and then use them, right? And so when I got into Alcoholics Anonymous and I started going to my meetings every day, and I went to step meetings, tradition meetings, I got involved in service work, one alcoholic helping another, it made sense, right? And so then when we put them into practice, it says, once we find, familiarize ourselves, acclimate ourselves with these spiritual principles, what you gonna do with them? You need to practice them. So if we are to stay sober one day at a time and help another alcoholic achieve sobriety, it comes with practicing the 12 spiritual principles that we learned and familiarized ourselves with in the 12-step program, and then we pick them into practice. Because you know why we need to put them into practice? We need not give anything or anybody that much power ever again to make us go back to drinking, to make us go back. I won't go back. I'm not going back, right? And so when we put these principles into practice, then we do get happiness and peace of mind. Ooh, let me tell you something. Early in my recovery, with less than 90 days in this process called recovery. I left a husband that was dying of cancer. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. One of the females in the recovery house sucker punched me, not once but twice. The brother that I turned on to crack tried to commit suicide. And this is with less than 90 days in the program. Things that could have very well taken me back out had I given in. But because I began to familiarize myself with these spiritual principles, they said, Edwina, when you're going through something, acknowledge it. What are you feeling? Then pray about it, right? Right? Talk about it. Go and help somebody else, and you will get through it, right? And so let me tell you, the happiness and the peace of mind came when I utilized those spiritual laws, those spiritual principles. I said, I didn't drink. I didn't use. I didn't give in. I survived it. Yes. Oh, I'm happy that I didn't have to pick up a drink, and it gave me a peace of mind. Oh, so then when the next thing happened, I did the same thing they asked me to do or suggested that I do. And if I go back in my previous experience, right, I acknowledged what I was feeling. I wasn't concealing it. I revealed it. Then I prayed about it, wrote about it, talked about it, helped somebody else, right? And I got through that too. And when I got through that too, I was happy that I didn't drink again. Oh, I was so happy, and it gave me a peace of mind. Do you know what the alternative would have been had I drank? Had I left? I would have no peace, and I sure enough wouldn't have been happy. Okay, and so let's see what else it says. So when I began to see that I was experiencing internal happiness, I was experiencing internal peace of mind, then that said to me, every time that I'm going through something, every time life deals me a hand that I don't know what's underneath that hand, that I am learning, have learned, will continue to learn who the dealer is. And so when I internalize that day after day after day after day, 31 plus years later, and if he keeps me sober up through February the 23rd of 2022, I'll be doing it for 32 years, but one day at a time. So my happiness did come quietly. Why? Because of the actions I took that were preceded by the thoughts that were in my mind. And so when I thought about it, right, I had to decide with the help of others what's the next right thing to do. And some people had a problem with asking for help and all that. I didn't have a problem asking for more drugs. I didn't have a problem asking for more alcohol. I didn't have a problem asking for more money when I was prostituting. So listen, I ain't got a problem asking. So in recovery, we learn how to ask for help. And even with asking for help, that can help us obtain happiness quietly. That can give us a peace of mind because we learned the serenity prayer and we practice it on a daily basis. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things that I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. And in early recovery, we just don't deal with situations. We deal with people too. And so we have another version of the serenity prayer regarding people. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change. Courage to change the person that I can. And the wisdom to know that that person is me. And what, so what, now what, What you gonna do about it? And not what's the next right thing to do, what's the next spiritual right thing to do? What spiritual law do I need to apply to this to continue my development and increasing my peace of mind and increasing my internal happiness? Yes, okay. And so you got my drift, right? I got about 6 more minutes. Let's see here. And so then it says, there seem to be some rules that we have to follow. Huh? Huh? There must be some spiritual rules. Does it say spiritual? I ain't trying to. Let me see what it says now. It says there must be some rules that we have to follow. Okay, so we know we live in a society, in a world where there is nothing but rules, right? Nothing but rules. And so when we have nothing but rules in this society, think about it. If we didn't have rules, it will be chaos. Sort of like in the cowboy Indian days, chaos, 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 right? And so when I think about rules, and I think about rules in my house, I think about rules at school, I think about rules at the work, I think about rules at the hit house, I think about rules in the bar, right? I think about so-called rules while prostituting. There are some rules that we must follow in order to get what we want, right? And then it says, but happiness and peace of mind are always here, open and free to anyone, right? Peace of mind and happiness is always here, right? Open and free to anyone. So if I don't ever want to drink one day at a time, it's available to me to apply these spiritual principles, these spiritual rules, so I can maintain and increase my happiness, so I can maintain and increase my peace of mind, so I can maintain and increase, right? Put some joy in my life, as my boy Chris would say. Put some joy in your life. And that joy comes from within. It comes from within. That happiness now comes from within. That peace of mind comes from within. Why and how? By applying these spiritual principles. I'm not talking about religion. Donald Lawrence says it. You are not a natural being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being encased and walk in this natural experience. So that means if I apply spiritual principles to this earthly journey, I can obtain and develop happiness within. And yes, it comes slowly, but guess what? It increases and it increases while I continue to practice these spiritual principles. And like Pharrell Williams said, I'm happy now. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not going to let nothing get me down. I'm not going to let nothing pull me back. I'm not going to let nothing. I refuse to tell God to kiss my behind. His gift to me was sobriety. And what is my gift back to him? Stay sober happily. I want to stay sober. I love being sober and help another alcoholic or anyone else achieve sobriety. Lead by attraction and not promotion. Okay? And so that's why when it says it is available to anyone, I believe that every human being on this earth can benefit from a 12-step spiritual program. Okay, I got but a couple minutes. So let's see here what the recovering alcoholic says from his perspective. He says, the simplicity of the AA program teaches me that happiness isn't something I can demand. It comes upon me quietly while I serve others. Oh my God. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? The program is so simple, but we as human beings are so complicated, right? So it's a program, it's a simple program for complicated people. But once we get in and we have a decision to stay and we have a made up mind, no matter how long that takes, eventually the student will appear. The student will be ready and the teacher will appear. So the program teaches me that happiness isn't something I can demand. It comes upon me quietly while I serve others. That is the key. We are born to serve, not with conditions, not with hatred, animosity, all of that. When you get into the spiritual realm of things, you will see, like our God did, we were born to serve. And once we get past all that layered of onion stuff and get to the core of our God and what he gave us, we will want to be of service to others. I want people to experience what I have experienced, and therefore I want to be of service to others. I want to lead by example. Yes, I want to show them the pathway that God showed me so that they can get what God has for them. Right? Being of service to others. Oh my God. One of the things about Alcoholics Anonymous, it is free. Oh my God. It is free. So when that happiness and that peace of mind comes to me, it's because I'm being of service to others. And it says, in offering my hand to the newcomer or to someone who has relapsed, I find that my own sobriety has been recharged with indescribable gratitude and happiness. Oh my God, huh? I feel that when I extend my hand to the newcomer or to a person who has relapsed, not with judgment, not with criticism, but I open and extend my hands and I embrace them. And I say, and we say, keep coming back. Keep coming back. So when I do that, I am being selfless by trying to help somebody else. But guess what it does? It recharges my battery. It makes me feel happy that I can give someone else empathy and compassion and understanding and unconditional love. That recharges my battery, and God is going to send someone to do the same thing for me. So I have a heart of gratitude, and I am happy. So now you got it. It's a little bit over. But the daily reflections, it says happiness comes quietly from a Weena B's perspective, right? And so I am happy that I was able to go get tested after some signs, right? And tested positive for COVID-19. I am happy that I went to the doctors. I am happy that I got tested. I am happy that I got vaccinated. I am happy that I got my booster shot. I am happy because when I do those things, I can be of service to others. Yes. So wear your mask. Get tested, get vaccinated, get your booster shot. Do the same for your children. Wear your mask, social distance, and guess what? When you know you have done the right thing for the right reason, you will have happiness and a peace of mind. So be safe. I love you. God does too. And be happy. All right. Woo! If it's God's will that we are rejoined tomorrow, listen, I'm going to be happy, but I'm going to make the best of this day, right? And be